Every great story begins somewhere, often in places no one expects. This is the story of Mama Lily Mubitana Monze, a freedom fighter, educator, politician, diplomat, and a writer whose life helped shape Zambia's history. Mama Lily Monze's journey begins in Zambia, where her early years laid the foundation for a life of service and leadership.
I go back to 1936. That was my birth year. Parents, Moses Kamungoma Mubitana, a great teacher, like myself also. I became a teacher afterwards. A great politician, a great administrator. Mother, Dorika Nabanyama, she was working alongside her husband in helping shape young people into better people. You know, naughtiness started even long ago. It's not only the youth of today who are naughty. So those two were a couple which helped shape Zambia's leaders. That's the home I was born into. I started with Kafue, where I was born, Kafue Mission, because my father was a teacher, headmaster in that school. Later, we moved on when he was transferred by the Methodist Missionary Society into Mumbra. I continued with my elementary education there. Later, he was transferred to the mines, Mufulira Mine School, where he was headmaster, and the late Dr. Kaunda was one of the teachers. So we were living together in the teachers' compound. And from there, I think I was sent to a mission school in Mapanza. I ended up with Chipembi Mission, where I did my secondary education. Later, traveled to Southern Rhodesia, then Monze, where I did my higher school education, and later the University College of Rhodesia in Nyasaland, UCRN, but ended that course with the University of South Africa in Pretoria, and then did teacher training, and later became a teacher.
Driven by determination and a passion for learning, she pursued her higher education at a time when very few women had that opportunity. She became one of only 3 Zambian women to earn a university degree during that era, a remarkable achievement that set her apart as a pioneer.
My father was a teacher himself, quite well educated for that time. He was educated in Southern Rhodesia and South Africa later. So he was very ambitious for his children, that they should have the best in education. In fact, I started learning in my home under his tutorage. I remember. One thing I shall never forget, my father was very kind and good to me. But one time we were doing multiplication exercises and so I made a mistake and a ruler landed here. So I cried, and then he said, "I'm so sorry, I shall never do that." And he never wanted me to make any mistakes. Is that possible?
Her vision for education extended beyond personal success. As a member of National University Council, she played a role in identifying the site where the University of Zambia sits today.
You are reminding me of walking in gumboots. That place was a swamp, I tell you. We had to wear gumboots as the university councillors who were considering the place where to put Monze, where it is now. But with the gumboots, we struggled on until we agreed that the Great East Road was the campus for the University of Zambia. I'm very, very proud of that I saw this institution from before it happened, while we were still talking about it in meetings as councillors, to where it is now. Especially when I look at the numbers on graduation day, especially when I know that we, the first councillors, produced the president of Zambia. You don't know how happy I am. It was very swampy. I think Monze is still swampy in certain areas, but I think with the modern technology, they pump out water sometimes, unnecessary water. We are the first council of the University of Zambia which established it. And we are the people who faced these problems. Well, it meant engaging technocrats who used methods of pumping some of the water out. Then came the idea that let us plant these tall trees. We planted those along the roads. Then came the idea that let's dig up a dam to take some water out, bad water out. And then let us plant the useful trees which suck water. That's why you have seen those tall gum trees or whatever you call them. It was difficult. We had to think of all the ways of defeating this water. What we wanted was the land on which the university was built and for our students to settle there and study. And I think we succeeded.
By the time Zambia gained independence, Mama Lily Monze was already serving as a teacher. She went on to contribute to several national education institutions, shaping the future of education in young nation. In 1967, she stepped onto the global stage, participating in her first international feminist conference in Moscow. This marked the beginning of her broader involvement in advancing women's rights in Zambia and abroad.
It was just a speech. And that speech illustrated the situation as it was in the world. There was a tendency for women in these other countries, outside Africa, that though we were talking about women sleep, they were already liberated. So it's these Africans whom we have to fight for to be liberated also. But we saw the situation that where is the difference? We are just in the same boat, So at a Moscow conference in early 70, I said, let me tell these people the truth.
Her commitment led her to becoming a member of the steering committee of the United Nations International Research and Training Institute for the Advancement of Women, further amplifying her influence on gender equality issues. As an active member of the United National Independence Party, UNIP, Lily Monze entered politics and served as a nominated member of Zambia's National Assembly from 1973 to 1978. She became a powerful voice for women in political life and a leading advocate for gender equality.
Because of my interest, from even before I came to Parliament, on women's affairs, we looked after the women's affairs from the immature age, up to where it was when I joined Parliament. So we were called the women liberators of women. And it was in my blood. I felt it in my blood, So it helped change certain policies. And it helped government set aside certain sums specifically for women issues.
In 1973, she was appointed Minister of State for Planning and Finance, becoming one of the first women to hold a ministerial position in Zambia. She served in this role until 1975. She continued her service in government as Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office from 1976 to 1978 and Minister of State for Economic and Technical Cooperation from 1977 to 1978.
I'm so grateful that the first president of this country, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, could think that I would play such a role. It was the most hectic time, or one of the most hectic times I have lived. Because it meant looking for funds to maintain the Zambian nation. Of course, we had the copper. It was giving us finances. Maybe in agriculture we were selling one or two things there and there. But we needed additional help. So this ministry was set up to see what help we could get from those who had the good of Zambia at heart. And for those days, our fellow African countries would not be regarded in that situation because we were in the same boat. So it meant cooperation with outside countries because they had the resources. I have never traveled as I traveled in that Ministry of Economic and Technical Cooperation. The good thing, Dr. Kaunda then and the cabinet said, let's not go there as beggars. Let's go there as cooperators. And it worked. We were cooperators. If we had nothing, would they come to us? Would they be coming in droves to search for land here where they could put up a structure there or a farm there or what? No. We had something to give. We had copper. Therefore, we were on par. That's why the name was changed to Economic and Technical Cooperation.
Great.
Yeah.
In 1972, under President Frederick Chiluba's administration, Lily Monze was appointed Zambia's ambassador to France. She served in this diplomatic role until 1976, representing her country on the international stage with distinction. Lily Monze's legacy continues to resonate in modern Zambia, reflected in ongoing efforts to expand inclusive governance. Constitutional reforms under President Hakainde Hichilema aimed at increasing representation for women, youth, and persons living with disabilities in the National Assembly stands as a shining testament to the enduring impact of her pioneering work.
The girl child now, the sky is the limit, as we used to say in the past. Because education is free. In those days, when we were coming up ourselves, you had to search even 2 and 6, to pay for that education. But where things have come free now, we have to honor the government of the day.
Beyond politics and diplomacy, Lily Monze is also a writer dedicated to preserving culture and history. In 2017, she published her first children's book, Rain Child, celebrating African folklore and storytelling traditions. In 2023, she co-authored Beyond the Horizons, an historical account of Chipembe Girls Secondary School, highlighting the role of missionary education in advancing girls' education in Zambia.
Storytelling, it's an art I got from my father. My father in our village in Karuweza in Namwala, people used to travel from surrounding villages, to say the truth, to come and listen in the evening around the fire, eating ground nuts or musoja, maize, to come and hear Mufwiti telling the stories. It's a culture which I hate to see that it's going to die out. It's terrible. That is what made the African. There is so much wisdom in storytelling. The way The ruler looked after the village and the people, the way how the head of the family, usually it was a man, not usually, always it was a man, the way he looked after the wife or wives in those days, wives and children.
And on 17th April 2026, she turned 90 years. During her birthday celebration, she reflected on the impact she has made for Mother Zambia, calling on young Zambians to remain patriotic and develop the fighting spirit for the development of the country.
So that confidence should be there. Unfortunately, that confidence is not only nourished by you alone. It had to be nourished by the people, other people around you, the family first. Do the parents encourage their female children to do what we are talking about? Then the institutions, educational, teaching or whatever institutions, do they encourage the females in those institutions to go that way? This is my appeal. There may be some parents who are still holding on that their children should not go ahead. Marriage comes first. And in that marriage, some of them stay only a year, 2, divorce comes. The high rate of divorce in Zambia now is a shame, you know. So why not, parents, please let these children reach the maximum in their education so that they can serve Zambia better and even help you better. You say an educated girl who is working supports the parents and the family better than one who is pulled into marriage early and soon you hear of divorce case, you know. So that's my appeal. Please, let's let the girl child go to school. Mweva shali, kamubare kabana, nova yali, kamubare kabana, kamubare kabana, vaiye chikoro, vakakare kabotu. Kamubare kabana, vaiye chikoro, vakakare kabotu. So that Tonga song, for those who don't understand Tonga, it says, parents, leave the children to finish their schooling so that later on they will live good lives. And those good lives include looking after the very parents.
Lily Monze's life is a testament to courage, vision, and unwavering commitment to progress. From breaking barriers in education to shaping national policy, from advocating for women globally to representing Zambia abroad. Her journey reflects the power of determination and leadership. She is not only a witness to Zambia's history, but one of its architects. Her story reminds Africa that true nation building is driven by individuals who dare to lead, to challenge, and to inspire future generations.